Show you how you can make a e-commerce website like this using HTML and CSS, and this website is also responsive as well. Let me just show you. Here if I make the skin smaller, there you can see the option is gone, and here you can see we have a menu bar here. And look at the image. If I make it more smaller, there you can see it is responsive, and there you can see the footer is also responsive as well. If I make it bigger, there you can see footer will look like this. Let me just go at the top and let me just make it smaller here. There you can see we have a menu bar, and if we click on this menu bar, it will show us all the menu here like this. So I'm going to show you everything step by step from the very beginning, how we can make something like this. So first of all, we're going to make the nav bar here. Here you can see we have the menu option here. So we're going to make this first. So for it, let's go back to our code. And here you can see you have some basic structure, HTML structure. So first of all, we're going to mention the nav tag. So inside this nav tag, first of all, I'm going to mention the tag called level. And here we're going to give it a name. Let's say the name will be my ecom. And after this level, we're going to mention a UL tag. Then inside the UL tag, we're going to have a li tag. Then in the li tag, we'll have an anchor tag like this. Okay. So in the href, for now, we'll give a hash. So right now, we're going to copy this li, and I'm going to paste it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in the first one, let's say here home. Then here we're going to say, let's say products. In the third one, let's say contact. This one will be register. Let's say register. And this one will be login. So right now, if we save this and if we just refresh our browser here, there you can see we have the label my ecom and we have some option here. So first of all, we're going to have a background color here for the nav part. So for it, let's go back to our code. And here we're going to create a style.css file. So I'll just click on my folder, then click on new file. Our file name will be style.css, Ctrl S, then save. So first of all, what we're going to do is that we're going to connect our style.css with our index file. So for it, we're going to say here link. Then in this href, we're going to mention this style.css. So we'll say here style.css. After that, in the style.css, first of all, we'll give a star here, then we'll give 2 second bracket. Let's say here padding will be 0, margin will be 0 as well. We'll also say here box sizing. Box sizing, it will be border box. Text decoration, it will be none. So for the anchor tag, the text decoration will be none, and the list style, I mean the li tag, will be list style will be none as well. If we now save this, then if we now refresh, there will be no padding and margin, and the underline and list style will be gone. It means this dot sign will be gone as well. If we now refresh, there you can see it will look like this. So let's go and have a background color dark green here. So for it, let's go back. And in here, you can see inside the nav tag, we have everything here. The label and also all the list. So here, we're going to mention the nav tag. Then we'll give to second bracket. We're going to say here background will be dark blue. And we are going to mention the height of the background. So let's say here height, it will be 80 px. If we now say, then refresh here, there you can see we have a dark blue background here. So first, let's make the color for this my ecom to white, and let's have it over here. So for it, let's go back. And here you can see that we have a label. Inside the label, we have the text my ecom. So inside the label, we mention a class. Let's say here my underscore logo. So we're going to write some CSS for this class. So let's go to our style.css, and we're going to say here dot my logo to second bracket. The text color will be white. Then the font size for the text, let's say it will be 25 px. And font weight, it will be bold. If we now save, then refresh here. There you can see it will look like this. So let's have it in the center. So for it, what we are going to do is that here we mention height is 80 px. So here we are going to say line height, it will be 80 px, same as this height, and we are going to say also padding, it will be 0 and 100 px. So if you now save it, refresh, there you can see it is in the center. So let me just change the font design or the text design a little bit. So for it, we are going to say here, let's just say mention the body tag. And in the body tag, here you can see everything is inside the body tag, right? So we're going to mention the text design or text font family. Let's say here font family, it will be monospace. So if you now set this, then just notice the text design. If we now refresh here, there you can see the text design changed. So let's have those on the right side. So for it, let's go back. And here you can see inside the nav tag, we have the event tag. And inside this event tag, we have everything here, all the list. So we are going to set here the nav tag, then the event tag. So we want to show those on the right side. So we are going to say here float, it will be right. And let's also make some space at the right side. So we are going to say margin right, it will be 60 px. Save, then refresh here, and there you can see everything is on the right side. And there you can see there is some space as well, margin right space. So let's have it in a single line. So for it, what we need to do is that we need to mention the nav tag, event tag, and then the li tag. So here we are going to say nav ul li, then to second bracket we'll say display, it will be inline block. It means we want to show those in a single line. Let's also mention the line height as well. So I can just copy it from here, line height. And let's also add a margin among the list. So let's say here 0, 5 px. Save it, refresh, and there you can see it look like this. So right now let's change the text font size. So for it, we are going to go to here, and here you can see our text is inside the anchor tag. So this time we are going to say nav ul, then li, then the anchor tag, then to second bracket. Let's say here font size, it will be 17 px, and let's also make them uppercase. So let's say here text transform, it will be uppercase. Save it, refresh, and there you can see it will look like this. So right now let's do one thing, that is when you hover our cursor on those options, the color should change. So let's say the color will be yellow. So for it, let me just copy this nav ul li anchor tag, paste it here. We are going to give a clone. We'll say here hover to second bracket. Let's say the color will be yellow. Now if we refresh and if we take our cursor, there you can see the color changed to yellow. So let's go and make this responsive. So for it, let me just show you. If I just right click and then click on inspect, there you can see it will look like this. At the beginning it will look like this, but when the skin width gets smaller, it will look like this. So we need to make this responsive. So for it, what we need to do is we are going to create a menu bar or a option here to click. Well, and when you click on that option, it will show us those menu. So for it, we'll go to our index file, and after the label, we are going to say input type, it will be checkbox, and here we are going to mention an ID. Let's say the ID will be check, and for this ID we are going to have a label, and inside this label we are going to have a I tag. So in the label we are going to say for, and here we are going to mention this ID called to check inside this for. So in this I tag, we are going to mention a font awesome icon. So for it, we need to get the font awesome CTL. For it, we need to go to our browser and we need to search here font or some CDN. Press enter and then go to this link cdnjs.com and just copy the first one. So from here, just click on the middle icon. If you click on it, there you can see it get copied. After that, we'll go back to our code and we'll paste it inside the head section. So right now, inside this I tag, we're going to mention a class, and the class will be file bars, like this. If we now save, then if we refresh here, there you can see we have the checkbox and we have the font awesome icon here. There you can see it. So let's have this font awesome icon on the right side. For it, what we need to do is, again, we need to make this dot right. So here inside this label, we're going to mention a class. Let's say here check button btn. So we're going to write some CSS for this check btn. Let's go to our style.css. We're going to say here dot check btn, into second bracket we're going to say float. It will be prior. And let's also mention a color for it. Let's say color will be white. If we now save it, then refresh here, there you can see we have a font awesome icon bar here on the right side. So let's position it over here in the middle. So for it, I'm just going to copy the line height 80 px from here and paste it here. Let's also increase the font size for the bar. Let's say font size will be 30 px. Save it. Refresh, and there you can see. So let's have some space at the right side. For it, we are going to say margin right, it will be 40 px. Save it, refresh, and there you go. So right now, there you can see that if I click on this bar, this will get checked. If I now click on it, there you can see this got checked. The reason is we write here id equal to check, and in the label we say for equal to check. It means whenever we click on the bar, the checkbox will get checked. Now let me just explain something. The thing is, we do not need to see this bar when our screen size is big enough to show us those options. Right now we're going to make this display none. So we're going to say here in the check button, we're going to say display, it will be none. If we now save this and refresh here, there you can see the button is gone. So we're going to do the same thing for this check button as well. And here you can see that for the check button, we mentioned here id equal to check. So since this is an ID, we need to give a hash here. Then we'll say check, and we're going to say display, it will be none. Save it, refresh, and there you go. So when are we going to show those bars? When the skin width is smaller than a certain pixel. So let me just right click and then click on inspect. And if we just make this smaller, there you can see after 750 px at the top you will see the pixel 35 pixel. The text come on the downside. So we'll just make it after, let's say 750 pixel. We'll show the menu bar and we'll make this menu hidden. We'll understand it, don't worry. So here we're going to say at the top media to first bracket. We'll say here max width. Let's say it will be 750 pixel, and we'll give to second bracket like this. So first of all, what we are going to do is that we're going to mention this check button over here. Then we'll give to second bracket. So here we say display none. So here we're going to set display, it will be block. It means it will show us the menu bar. If we now say refresh here, and when we make our skin width smaller than a certain width, it will show us the menu bar. There you can see. So right now we're going to make some design change for this menu option. So for it, here you can see that those option is inside the li tag. So we'll write some CSS inside this max width, inside this media. we're going to write the CSS design for the UL tag. So we're going to say here, position, it will be fixed, and we're going to add a background color. Let's say background color will be dark blue. If we now save, then refresh, there's now a background color. So we'll have this in the center, also add some padding as well. So let's go back. So first of all, let's make the width. It will be 100%. Let's also mention a height. Let's say height will be 100 kh. And let's say top will be 60 px. Let me just show you how it will look. Like I can see it will look like this. So let's have it in the center. For it, we are going to say text align. It will be center. Let me save and refresh here. There you go. It is in the center. Now we want to show those in a different line, all those options. So how can we do it? So in order to do that, we are going to say here nav ul, then li, then to second bracket, we'll say here display, it will be block. It means it will show all those menu options in different line. If we now refresh, there you can see it will look like this. Now the thing is, when we click on this bar, only then we want to show this, or we want to see this menu option. So what we are going to do is that inside this UL tag, we are going to say left, it will be minus 100%. If we now save it, then refresh, there you can see it is not over here. So we want to show this when we click on this main word. So for it, what can we do is, we are going to say here hash, we are going to mention this check. So we are going to say here hash check, then give a clone, we are going to say here checked. Then this sign, we are going to say here UL, then to second bracket. So the thing is, whenever we click on this icon, the checkbox get checked. And when the checkbox get checked, we are going to say here left, it will be 0px. Basically, we are saying the left will change from minus 100% to 0px for the UL. Here you can see UL tag. Okay, so right now, if we save it, then refresh here, there you can see it is not showing. If we click on this, it will show us all the menu. And let's have those color to be white. So I'm going to say inside the anchor tag, nav ul li anchor tag, I'm going to say here color, it will be white. And let's also say here transition all 0.5 seconds. Let's save it, refresh here. If we now click on it, it will appear like this. If we click on it, it will remove like this. So we are able to completely make our navbar responsive. So right now, let's go and add a cover image here. So here you can see that we have a cover image like this, and I have the cover image over here in the downloads file. So this is the cover image. So I'll just cut this from here and I'm going to paste it in my folder. So there you can see cover.png. And if I just go to my code, there you can see we have cover.png here. So after the nav tag, we're going to mention another div, and in this div, we're going to have the image. I'm going to say here the image tag. In the source, I'll set cover.png. And one more thing, I'll give this image download link in the description. Just check it out. And if you want, you can use different image for the cover image. But I will suggest you the cover image dimension should be around 7000 px width. Okay. Here you can see the image dimension is for this image 6912. So make sure to download a image with a larger width, because that will look good as a cover. So let me just set this, and if we now refresh here, it will look like this. Obviously, we need to fix the image. So I'm going to mention a class here. Let's say class name will be my underscore cover. Let's go to our style.css. And after this second bracket, I'm going to say here dot my underscore cover. To second bracket, let's the image width, it will be 100%. And let's say height will be 250 px. If we now save it, then refresh, it will look like this. Obviously, this doesn't look good. So we are going to say here, object feed, it will be covered. Or you can say here contain as well, but I think cover will look good. We'll say here cover, refresh, and they can see it for our image depending on our skin height and width. And this will be responsive as well. Let me just make it smaller here. There you can see it will look good in all width. So after this, we are going to make some product card here. So for it, let's go back and let's go to index.php. Let's mention another div here. So in this div, I'm going to say here class. Let's say class name will be my underscore card. And I'm going to mention another div. In this div, we'll say class. The class will have our image look like this. Here you can see our image, a title, a small description, price, and a buy now button. So let's go back and let me do one more thing, that is, here I'm going to say h3, let's say products. And for this, I'm going to write some simple CSS. So, and this h3 tag is inside my card. So I'm going to say here, dot my underscore card, then the h3 tag to second bracket, let's say text align, it will be in the center, the font size, it will be 25 pixel. I think that's fine. Save it, refresh, and then let's also add some padding as well. Padding will be 20 pixel. Okay. So right now here in this my class card, let's add the image. So let me just copy the image from the download section. So here you can see I have 5 images here. So I'll just cut this from here and I'm going to create a folder here. So I'll just right click on new folder. Folder name will be images. And in this images folder, I'm going to paste all the images. There you can see, let me just make it bigger. There you go. So let's go back and here you can see in the folder we have some image. So let me just show the auth image first. Let's say here auth dot, the extension is JPEG. So I'm going to say here JPEG. And after the image, we have the title, description, and the price and the button. So I'm going to say here the p tag, and in this p tag, let's say here watch, or let me just say here h4 tag. I think that will be better. Let's say h4. Then I'm going to mention a p tag. Here we are going to have some small description. Let me just write random text here. And let me just copy some text from here, Control C. And I'll paste it here. Let me remove some text here to here. And after this, we're going to have the price. We'll keep it inside the p tag. We're going to say price, it will be $30. And let's also have a button here, a buy now button. We're going to say here, buy now. If we save it, then refresh here, it will look like this. Okay, the image is broken. We have the watch. some description, price, and buy now button. The image is missing because our image is inside the images folder. So I'm going to say here images/watch. Let me show you. There you can see the image is showing and the image is too big. So right now let's go and fix the design. So for the card, we'll mention a width. So for it, let's go back, and here you can see we have div class card. So for this card, we're going to mention a width. So let's go to our style.css. We're going to set here .curve. Then to second bracket, we're going to set here max width. It will be 330 px. Then we set here text align. It will be center. Let me save it and refresh here. There you can see the text are in the center, but obviously the image size is too big. We need to fix the image size, but let me just create a box here. So in order to create a box, I'm going to set here box shadow. It will be 0, 4 px, 8 px, again 0, and let's mention RGBA. We're going to say okay. I think this is fine. If we now save it, then refresh, there you can see it created a box here. And there you can see inside the card we have the images, right? So I'm just going to say here class p_image. Then we'll go to our style.css and we're going to say here .p_image. To second bracket, we'll say here width. It will be 100%. So it will take the card full width, since the image is inside the curve. If we now just refresh here, there you can see the image is inside the card. So let me just add some margin and padding as well. So here, inside this card, I'm going to say margin, it will be 15 px, and padding, it will be 15 px. Save it, then refresh, and there you go. You can add more padding if you want. I think 25 and 25 will be better. Refresh, and there you go. So let me just show some other card using different images. So for it, what we need to do is that here you can see we have div class card. So I'm going to copy this div and I'm going to paste it here. And in this one, let's get the shoe image. So let's say here shoe, and for the shoe, the extension is JPG. Let's say here shoe. The price will be on $30. After that, let's get the phone image. So I'm going to say here phone. The phone extension is JPG. This one will be phone. The price will be $830. We have two more beam. Okay, let me just show you for now. Save, then refresh, and there you can see it will look like this. And it will be in different light since everything is inside a div. So we want to show those in a single light. So for it, what we need to do is really simple. There you can see all the card is inside class my_card. So we're going to write some CSS for this. So we say here my_card, then to second bracket, we'll say here display, it will be flex, then we'll say flex orb, it will be orb. We also make those in the center, so we say here justify content, it will be center. Let's also say here align items, it will be center. If we now save this, then refresh here, will look like this. So it will look like, okay, let's have this product outside my cart. So here you can see products. So I'll just cut this and I will paste this here. H3. So let's say here class. A class will be p_title. Let me just copy this from here and I write the CSS like this, or my card H3 tag. I'll just directly say here p_title. If we now refresh, succeed. And let's also have this H3 inside a div, like this. So Control X, Control V. Save it, then refresh, and there you go. So let me just show you or add a few more products. So here I'm going to copy this div and paste it here. This time here you can see makeup. So let me say here makeup.jpg. We are going to say price will be 400. Title will be makeup. And we have one more image which is camera. So let's say here camera. The extension is JPEG. You say here camera and the price would be 1800. Save, then refresh here. There you can see. So let's make some design for the text as well. And let's also add some padding as well. So for it, let's go pad. And here you can see the title is beside the H4 tag, and H4 tag is beside the class called card. So I'm going to say here dot card H4. We are going to say padding 10px. Then here we have the p tag. So for p tag again we are going to say here card, mention the p tag to second bracket. Padding will be 10px, and before card I need to give a dot here. Then we are going to write some CSS for the anchor tag. For it, I'm going to say here dot card anchor tag to second bracket. Let's say padding 10px, and for the anchor tag I'm going to add a background color. Let's say background color will be sky blue. If we now save it, then refresh, it will look like this. So let's make it round. So I'm going to say here border radius, it will be 10%. It will make the background round, and let's also add margin, it will be 10px. Save, then refresh. So let me just add some space among those as well. So here I'm going to say margin 10px. Save it, refresh, and there you go. And there's a few more things that we can do is that when we hover our cursor on the card, the color of the shadow might change. Also the color for this anchor tag should change as well. So for it, what I'm going to do is here, let me just copy this card anchor tag, paste it here. I'm going to say here hover. Let's say the color will change to background color will change to black, and the text color will be white. Let me just show you this one first. Refresh, and if I take my cursor, there you can see the color change to black. And this is responsive as well because we mentioned here display flex or justify content center. So if we just make our skin smaller, here, you will notice that it will go to different line. There you can see. And if we make it bigger, it will start showing in a single line like this. So let me just add a shadow when we hover our cursor on the card as well. So for it, we are going to say here we can see card. Here we make the shadow, box shadow. So what we are going to do is that we are going to say card, scroll over to second bracket. Let me just copy this box shadow and paste it here. We can choose different color from here. Let me just keep random on and on here. And let's say here 14, this one will be 18. And let's say here 0 and 0. No. And this from RGB, let's say here sky blue. Save it, then refresh. If I take my cursor, there you can see the color change to sky blue. So right now we are going to create the footer section. So how can we make the footer section? This is really simple. Let's go back. Let's go to our index file, and here we're going to mention another div. Inside this div, let's say here class will be footer, and here we're going to mention another div, and in this div the class name will be footer underscore content. So before this, we're going to mention another div, and in this div we're going to say class, and the class name will be footer underscore title. Let's say that title will be inside the h3 tag, title will be my ecom. If we now set this, then refresh here, so there you can see my ecom. So we're going to add a few more options or few more text here for the footer, then we'll make the design. So here you can see we have footer content. So inside the footer content, we're going to have a div, and in this div, let's say here h4 tag, we're going to say services, and in this services, let's have the p tag, and in the p tag, we're going to mention the anchor tag. So let me just copy this p tag, and I'm going to paste it 2 times. So first of all, in this one, let's say here web development, then this one will be app development, and this one will be digital marketing, and let me just give hash inside the href. So if we now save it, then refresh here, there you can see it will look like this. So we're going to have a few more options like social link, quick links, and location. So I can just directly copy this div, Ctrl C, and I'm going to paste it here. So this one will be social links. So let's say here social links, and here we're going to say Facebook. This one will be Instagram, and this one will be Twitter. After that, we're going to have one more. This one will be quick links. Let's say here quick links. So here we are going to say home. Let me just show you. Here at the top we have some links here: all products, contact, register, and login. So we are going to give those links here. So we are going to say home. This one will be products. This one will be contact. Let me just copy this and paste it 2 times. So let's say this one will be register, and this one will be login. So if we now save it, then refresh here, then you can see we have few more options here. So we need to add one more, that will be location. So let me just copy this, and I'll paste it here. I'm going to say here location. Location. So for location, there is no need to have any anchor tag. Let's just say here a random address: Western Union Street, House 27. And here this one will be, let's say, email. Email will be myecom@gmail.com, and this one will be the phone number. So let's say here phone, a random number, save it. Then if we now refresh, there you can see we have the location here as well. So right now we are going to make the design. First of all, we are going to have the footer background color as black. So for it, here you can see we have heap class footer, and inside this class we have everything. So let me just copy this, and I'll go to our style.css, and here we are going to set dot footer to second bracket. We are going to set background color, it will be black, and width it will be 100%. If we now set this, then refresh here, it will look like this, and here you can see that text color is black as well. That's why we are unable to see some text. So first of all, let me just change the text color, my ecom, and let's have it in the center. So for it, here in the index file, here you can see my ecom is inside ht tag and the class name is footer title. So I'll just copy this and I'm going to say here footer title is 3 tag to second bracket. Let's say the color, it will be white, and the font size, it will be 27 or let's say here 32 px. Let's also add a padding 10 px and margin 10 px. Let's also make the font weight, it will be 4. And let's make the text align to be in the center. So text align will be center. Save it. Then refresh, and there you can see. So let's have the services and social links, everything color white. So for it, here you can see that the services is inside the h4 tag, and every other title, services, social link, quick links, and location is inside the h4 tag, and the h4 tag is inside the footer underscore content. So we're going to say here dot footer underscore content, then the h4 tag, we're going to say here color will be in white. I can just copy this from here actually and paste it here. Let's say the font size will be 25 px. And I think the font size is too big. Let's make it 20 px. Let's save it and let's refresh, and there you go. So right now let's write the CSS for this location. So for it, here you can see that all those details is inside the p tag, and those are inside the footer underscore content. So we are going to say here dot footer underscore content. We are going to mention the p tag. To second bracket, we'll say here color, it will be white. Let's say here padding, it will be 15 px. If we now save it, refresh, and there you go. And the padding for those changes as well, because here we mentioned p tag and all those services option is also inside the p tag as well. So I think 10 px would be better. So right now what we are going to do is that we are going to change the color for the anchor tag. So for it, we are going to say here dot footer content anchor tag. The color will be white. Save it, refresh, and there you go. So right now, obviously, we do not show it like this. We want to show it in a single line. So for it, we are going to say, here you can see the class inside footer, we have the footer content. So we are going to say here dot footer, then dot footer underscore content. To second bracket, we are going to say display, it will be flex, and justify content, it will be spaced evenly. If we now just go to our browser and refresh, there you can see it will look like this. So this looks good, but this is not responsive. If I just make our skin smaller here, let me just go to footer section, and if we make it smaller, there you can see it is not responsive. After a certain width, the location will get hidden. So we need to fix this. So how can we fix it? The solution is really simple. Again, we're going to use the @media query. So we say here @media, we say max width. Let's say after 650 px, we're going to change the footer design. So we give to second bracket. Then we're going to copy this footer content, and we're going to paste this here. So the display will be flex, and here we're going to set flex direction. it will be column. Let's also mention here text align, it will be center. So if we now save this and refresh here, and if our skin width is smaller than 650 px, it will look like this. There you can see. So if we make it more smaller, it will be responsive, our footer section. So let's do one thing, and that is when we take our cursor on those options, the color will change for the anchor tag. So let's go back, and here you can see footer content anchor tag. I'll just copy this, paste it here. I'm going to say here, hover, the color for the text will be, let's say, sky blue, and the background will change to white, or let's say the color will be black. If we now save it, then refresh here, and there you can see it will look like this. So let me just add a copyright at the end. So for it, let's go our index file, and here before the last div, I'm going to mention the footer tag. In the footer, I'm going to mention the HR, and it will look like this. HR will create a straight line. Okay, so let me just say here H3, and we set copyright at the rate of web technology 2030. If you now save this, then refresh here, there you can see there is a straight line here, and you cannot see the text because the text color is black. So let's change the text color. So here it is inside the footer tag. So you go to style, and here outside this second bracket, we are going to set the footer tag, then the H3 tag to second bracket. We are going to set color, it will be white. Let's also add a padding. It will be 10 px. Margin, it will be 10 px. Text align, it will be center, and let's also add a font size, it will be 22 px. Save it, refresh, and there you go. Now let's do one more thing, and that is here you can see that the image size is different for each product card. So let's have all the image size, the height same. So for it, let's go back to our code, and if we just go at the top, a little at the top, here you can see the product card image, and here you can see the class called p_image. So let's just add a height for this class. So let's go to our style.css, and we'll find the p_image, which is this one. So here we are going to say height. Let's say it will be 250 px. If we now save this, then if we refresh now, there you can see all the image height and width is same. So let me just show you the responsiveness. So if I now click on inspect, and if we just make this smaller, there you can see it is responsive as well. So this is all. So this is how you can make an e-commerce website using HTML and CSS. Tutorial, I'm going to show you how to register a user using PHP-MySQL, and I'm going to show you everything step by step from the very beginning. So first of all, we are going to create a registration form, and what we'll do is that when we click on this register option, it will take us to the registration form. So for it, let's go back to our code, and here you can see that we have a project here, and inside this project, I'm going to create a folder. So for it, I'll click on this folder, then click on new folder, and the folder name will be home. And in this home folder, I'm going to create a PHP file called register.php. So I'll just right click on home, then click on new file, and the file name will be register.php. Ctrl S, and then save. So here, let me just say simple HTML, and in the body, I'm going to mention the h2 tag. Let's say here, register page, And right now what we want is that when we click on this register page, it will take us to this page. So for it, let me just go to index.php, and here you can see we have the anchor tag for register. So here in this href, we're going to mention this home folder. So we'll say here home, then slash, and our file name is register.php. So we'll say here register.php. So save it. Then if we now refresh here and click on register, there you can see it took us to register page. So here we are going to create a registration form. So let's go back to the register.php, and here first of all we are going to mention a div. Then in this div we are going to have a form. So we'll say here form, and in this form let's mention another div. Inside this we'll say level will be name, and for this level name we're going to have an input field. So the input type will be text and the name will be name. So here you can see we mention a div. So for this div we're going to mention a class. Let's say class name will be input underscore design. I'll just say DEG. So right now I'm going to copy this div and I'll paste it 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for the second one, I'm going to say here email. The level name and the type will be email. And for this one, it will be phone number, let's say. So let me just select those two, and I'm going to say here phone. And there you can see the type. So type will be, for phone, it will be number. After that, this one will be address. Let's just say here address, name will be address, and the type will be text. That's fine. So this one will be the submit button. So we are going to say here input type, it will be submit, name will be, let's say, register, and it will have a value, and the value will be register. If we now save this, then refresh, there you can see we have name, email, phone, address, and the register button. So we're going to make some design for this. So let's go back, and here we mention the class input underscore DEG. So we're going to write some CSS for this. So first of all, we're going to connect our style.css, and here you can see currently we are in the home folder, and inside home folder we have the register.php. So we're going to say here link, and since our style.css is outside the home folder, so we need to give double dot, then slash, then we need to mention style.css. Since our style.css is not inside the home folder, that's why we are writing it this way. So once you write this, it means we are connected with our style.css. And in the style.css, we're going to write some design for this. Input underscore DG. So let's go to our style.css, and let me just directly go down. Here I'll say dot input underscore DG. So here first let's add padding. Let's say padding will be 10 px. So padding will create some space among those input field. If we now refresh, there you can see there is some space right now. So we're going to add a background color for this register field, and we'll also keep it in the center. So let's go back. And here you can see we mention a div. So inside this div we mention a class. Let's the class name will be my underscore form. So we'll write some CSS for this. So we'll go to our style.css, and we're going to say here dot my form underscore form. Let's say the background color will be sky blue. Let me just show you. If you now save it, then refresh here, there you can see background color is sky blue. So right now let's go and mention a width for the background. Let's say width will be 60%. So we say here width, it will be 60%. If we now save it, then refresh, there you can see width is now 60%. So let's have it in the center. So for it, we're going to say margin, it will be auto. Then we'll say here text align, it will be center. And we'll add one more thing, that is margin top. Not left, margin top, let's say it will be 200 px. So margin top will keep our box over here. So if you now refresh, there you can see it is over here. So right now let's go and have a title here, that register form. So for it, let's go to register.php, and here after this div, let me mention the h2 tag, and here we are going to say register form. If we now save this, then refresh, there you can see you have register form. So let's add a simple design for this. For it, here you can see this h2 tag is inside my underscore form. So we are going to say here dot my underscore form, then mention the h2 tag to second bracket. Let's say the background color will be black and the text color will be white. Okay, let me just also add a padding here. Padding will be 10 px. Let's go back to our browser, refresh, and there you go. So let's have some space among the input field and the label. So for it, here you can see that the label is inside our input underscore deg class. So we are going to say here dot input underscore deg, and our tag name is label. So we'll say here width, it will be 100 px, and we'll say one more thing, and that is display, it will be inline block. If we now save it, then refresh, there you can see it moved a little bit. So let's make our input field a little bit bigger and responsive. So for it, here you can see the input type is text here, input type is email here, and input type number here. So we are going to write some CSS for those input field. And for it, we need to say here input, then to third bracket. Inside this, we'll say here type equal to, this one will be text. Then we'll give a comma here. Let me just copy this and paste it here. This one will be email, and this one will be number. So we are going to write some CSS for those three type of input fields. So we'll give to second bracket here, and we are going to say here width, it will be 40%. Make sure that it's less than this width, which is 60%. So we'll just say here 40%. If we now save it, refresh, it will look like this. So let's do a little bit more design, and that is we are going to say here padding. Let's say padding will be 12 px. We'll say here resize, it will be vertical, and let's also say here box sizing, it will be border box. If we now save this, then refresh here, there you can see it looks better. So right now let's make some design for this register button. For it, let's go back, and here you can see that for the register button, the type is submit. So we are going to say here input, then to third bracket, we'll set type equal to submit. Then we'll give to second bracket. We'll say, let's say the button background color will be dark blue, and the text color will be white. Let's also add a padding 10 px and border radius. It will make the button a little round 10%. If we now save it, then refresh, then okay, that design didn't apply. Okay, there is a space here. We cannot keep any space here. You need to write it like this. Save it again, refresh, and there you go. And this is also responsive as well. Let me just show you. If I just right click and click on inspect and make it smaller, there you can see it is responsive as well. So right now what we on is that when we give some data here and then click on the submit button, or I mean the register button, it will upload some data to a table. So for it, first of all, what we need to do is that we need to create a database. So just go to your PHPMyAdmin, just go to this link or go to this address, then you'll be able to go to PHPMyAdmin. After coming to the PHPMyAdmin, then you need to click here, new option. So right now we are going to create a database. Let's say our database will be php_ecom. So this will be our database name, php_ecom. So right now I'll click on create, and there you can see it created a database, and we need to upload those data in a table. and we need to create that table in this database, PHP ecom. So just click on PHP ecom. After that, here you can see table name. So our table name will be user, let's say users, and you need to mention how many columns this table will have. Let's say this table will have 1, 2, 3, 4 ID and the user type, total 6 columns. So we are going to say here 6. Then click on create. So there you can see we have 6 columns, and if you want to add more column, here you can see you just need to write a number and click on go. It will add more column here. So the first one, it will be ID, and the ID will be integer. Let's say the length will be 50, and we'll make the ID as primary key. So in order to make the ID primary key, what you need to do is that you just need to go a little at the right side, and here you can see AI. AI means auto increment. We just need to click on it and the ID will become primary key. So after this, we are going to say here name. The name will be Bhargav. Let's say length will be 15. Then we'll say here email. We'll again say here Bhargav. Length will be 50. This one will be password. And I forgot to add password here. So we'll add a password field here. So it will be Bhargav type. Then 15. And here this one will be phone. We're going to say here Bhargav, let's say 50. This one will be address. Let's say Bhargav as well. Length will be 50. And I want to add one more field here. So I'll just here say add on, then click go. There you can see it created one more field here. So we are going to say here user type. And user type will be Bhargav, let's say 50 as well. So here you can see we have null option here. So if you check this, it means user will be able to upload null data for that specific field. So we'll just keep it the way it is. And right now we'll just go down, and here you can see we have the save option. So click on save, and there you go. We have created a table called users. If we click on our table, users table, you can see ID, name, email, password, phone, address, and user type field here. So let me just add here one more field that will be called password. For it, let's go back. Let's go to register.php. Let me just copy this and paste it here. And we're going to say here input label will be password, and the type will be password. The name will be, let's say, password. And I'm going to go to our style.css, and here I'm going to add one more type, and that will be password. Type equal to password. Let's save it. Let me refresh. And there you can see we have one more input field for password. And I think the font size should be a little bit bigger. So for the level, let's say here font size, it will be 16 px. So right now the first thing we need to do is that we need to connect our register.php with our database. So for it, we'll go at the top of our register.php, and here we'll give the PHP opening tag, then the PHP closing tag. And inside it, we're going to connect our database. So for it, we need to declare a variable, let's say $con equal to, we need to say mysqli_connect. And inside it, first of all, we'll give 2 double quotation, and we need to say here local host, because this database, whatever you are seeing, is called localhost. So we'll say here localhost, then we'll give a comma here, then again double quotation, and here we're going to set root, because by default the database name is root and the password is null. So we'll give 2 double quotation and we'll keep it empty. After that, again we'll give 2 double quotation, and here we're going to give our database name. So here you can see that our database name is php_ecom. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. So once you give this, properly, it means you are connected to the database. And if you want to check it, you just need to give a if condition. If $con, you can say here echo database is connected. So if you now save this, and if you now refresh here, there you can see it says database is connected. But if you just change the database name from php_ecom to php_ecom123, then save it, this database do not exist, so we'll get an error. Let me just show you. If we now refresh, it will give us an error, and the error is unknown database php_ecom123. And we do not need to give this if condition, because if our database is connected, that's fine. We don't need to show it to the user. So we say here php_ecom. Let me just fix the error here first. Refresh, and there you go. So right now we are connected to the database, and in the database we have this table called user. So in this user table, we want to upload some data from this register form. So for it, what you need to do is that here you can see we mentioned here form. So in the form we say here action, then we say here method. So the method will be post, and we'll keep this action empty because we are going to write the PHP code in order to upload those data to the database table in the same phase in register.php. So here we are going to say a if condition, if to first bracket, then we say here is set $_post, then to third bracket and to single quotation like this, and make sure that you keep the post in capital letter. You must write this in capital letter, and here you can see to single quotation. So inside this, what we are going to do is that we are going to check if someone click on this register button. So here you can see we have this input type submit, and here you can see name equal to register. So I'm going to copy this and paste this here. After that, we'll give to second bracket. So here what we are doing is that we are checking if someone click on the register button or not. If someone click on the register button, then we are going to get those input field data in a variable. So here I'm going to declare a variable. So in order to declare variable, we need to say here $, let's say $name equal to, we'll say $_post to third bracket to single quotation, and here inside this to single quotation, we need to get the input from this input field, and here you can see name equal to name. So we are going to copy this and paste it here. So just like name, we can get the email, phone, address and password as well. So I can just copy this and paste it here a few times. So after name, we have the email. Let's say here. Okay, if you are confused, let me just give a different variable here. So let's say user_email. Let's also say here user_name. So here you can see user_email equal to $_post, and stop name we are going to say here you can see name equal to email. So we are going to mention this email here. So after email, we are going to say here address. Let's say here u_address, and here let me just show you all the name. Here you can see address name is address, phone name is phone, and the password name is password. So I'm just going to say here it will be, let's say phone, u_phone, it will be here phone. After that we have password. Let's say here let's only say pass, and the name is password. So we are getting the input field data, and we are storing this in a variable. So let me just tell you again, those are variable that you declare. You can give it any name you want, but here you can see those will come from the input field, and you must give the input field whatever name you gave for those input field. Okay. So right now we have all the input field data. Now we need to write a SQL query to upload those to the database table. For it, we are going to declare another variable. Let's say $SQL equal to, we'll give to double quotation, then we'll say here insert into our table name, which is users. Let me just show you, just for you to be sure. Here you can see users, and we need to write it exactly over here. There is a S, that's why we write here users. Then we'll give to first bracket, and here we are going to get the name from the database. Here you can see name, email, password, phone, and address. So we are going to type those here. So we say here name, comma, after name. You can follow any sequence if you want, but it's better if we follow one by one. Name, email, password, phone, address. So we are going to say name, email, comma, password, comma, phone, comma, address. And we have one more input field, which is user type. So I am going to say here, comma, user type. After that, here I am going to say values, then to first bracket, indeed with a semicolon. So here inside this first bracket, we are going to give two single quotation, and here you can see our first is name. So I am going to copy the variable name from here, which is $u_name, and I'll paste it here. After that, I'll give a comma here, again two single quotation, and after name we have the email. So I'm going to copy this u_email and paste it here. So after email, we have the password. So I'm going to give a comma here, then two single quotation, and here you can see the variable for password. We keep the password in this variable, so we'll copy this and paste it here. And make sure that you follow this sequence. Okay, so after password, we write here phone. So we'll give a comma to single quotation, and here you can see u_phone. Paste it here, give another comma. Right now we have the address. So I'm going to say here, let me just copy this, and I'll say here address. And the last one is user type. And we're going to add a by default value for the user type. So let me just declare a variable, let's say $user type, and the value for the user type will be user. And I'm going to mention this user type after address, because after address we have user type. So we give two single quotation, and we'll say here user type. So we write the query to upload the data to the table. So right now we need to execute this. So in order to execute this, we are going to declare another variable, let's say $data equal to mysqli_query, then to first bracket. And first of all, we need to mention this variable where we connect this page to the database. So we'll mention this $con here, then give a comma, and we'll mention this $SQL here, where I insert data to the table. And once you write this, it means we are about to successfully upload the data to the table. Let me just give a if condition. We'll check if $data, if upload is successful, we are going to show a message echo upload success, or let's say here register success. That will be better. Let's say register. So let's just set this, and here if we now refresh, and let's give a name, let's say name will be test, email will be test@gmail.com. let's give a random phone number, random address, and the password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Then click on register, and there you can see it says at the top register success. So if we just go to our database table, here you can see user table, and if we just refresh here, there you can see we have a data name equal to test, email is test@gmail.com, password we are able to see it, there is phone number, address, and the user type is user. So this is how you can make a registration system in PHP. I hope this tutorial was useful to you. How to make multi-user login system in PHP. So multi-user login means when a user login, it will take the user to user page, and when an admin login, it will take the admin to another admin page. And I'm going to show you everything step by step from the very beginning. So we are going to use email and password for login. If you want, you can also use name and password for login as well. And I'm going to show you everything step by step from the very beginning. So first of all, I'm going to create a login form. So let's go back to our code. And here in the home folder, I'm going to create login.php. So I'll just right click on the home folder, then click new file. And our file name will be login.php, Ctrl S, then save. So here, let me just say simple HTML tag. And here in the body, I'm going to say H2, let's say login form. If we now set this, and here you can see our login.php is inside the home folder. So I'm going to say here, ecom, our folder name is home folder / login.php. Press enter, and there you can see it says login form. So what we'll do is that when we click on this login option, it will take us to the login page, because that makes more sense. So for it, let me just go to our index.php. And here you can see the login anchor tag. So here we are going to mention the folder name, which is home / we say login.php. Save it. Then refresh here. Click on login. There you can see it took us to login page. So let's go and create a form for login. For it, what we are going to do is, let's go to login.php. For now, let me just remove this. Let's first mention a div. In this div, we're going to have a form. We'll say here form. Then in the form, let's have another div. In this div, we're going to say here label. Label will be, let's say, email. And for this label, we're going to have a input field. So the input type will be email. Let's say name will be email. And let's make it required. So in this tip, let's say here class, let's say class name will be input _ tg. So let me just copy this tip and I'm going to paste it here. So this one will be for password. Let's say here password, and the type will be password, and also name will be password as well. Let's say password, and I made a spelling mistake, email. Okay, so right now we are going to have a login button, I mean the submit button. So here the type will be submit, name will be login, and instead of required, let's say here hello, it will be login. So if you now save this, then refresh here, there you can see we have the email and the password field. So let's have it in the center, and let's also add some design as well. So first of all, here you can see input _ dg. So we're going to write some CSS. So we'll write some CSS in our style.css file. So first of all, we need to link our style.css. So in order to link it, we need to say here link. Then we are going to say here style.css, and the thing is our login.php is inside the home folder. So style.css is outside the home folder, so we need to give a // here. So if you give // then style.css, it means right now we have access to this style.css. So right now we are connected with the style.css, and in the previous tutorial we created the registration page design. Let me just show you. Here if I click on register, there you can see we created a design like this. So and all those design is inside the style.css, and here if you go to our style.css, and if you just go down a little bit, here you can see we write some CSS for input _ design, which is this one, and we also write some CSS for this label as well. Here you can see input _ dg label as well. There is also some CSS for the input type text, email, number and password, and also for the submit button. So I'm going to give this CSS code in the description if you want. And here you can see my form. So I'm just going to copy this name, my underscore form, and I'll paste this over here in this div. We'll say here my form. If we now save this, and let me just go to our login.php, and here you can see it will look like this. So let's go and have a login form text here. So just like before, over here I'm going to say here h2, and we'll say login form. And in the register.php, here you can see inside h2 we say registration form, and in style.css here you can see we write the css for my form h2 for this one as well. So if we now refresh, it will look like this. So right now what we'll do is that when we give our email address and give some password, then click on login, it will take us to user page or admin page. So for it, what we need to do is really simple. First of all, we are going to go to our login.php, and here in this form, we are going to say here action. Action will be empty, and here we are going to say here method. Method will be post. So we are going to write the code for login in the same page. That's why we write action is empty. So what we'll do is that we'll go at the top, and at the top of our login.php, we're going to write some PHP code. So we'll say here PHP opening, then the PHP closing, and inside this, first of all, we need to connect our login.php with our database. So for it, let me declare a variable, let's say $conf equal to my SQLi underscore connect. And we're going to say here localhost, then give a comma, then we're going to give our database username, which is root by default, and by default the password is null. And after that we need to give our database name, and our database name is let me just show you. Here you can see php underscore econ, this one. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. So once you write this, it means we are connected to the database. So first of all, what we are going to do is that we will check whether someone click on this login button or not. So for it, we are going to give a if condition, if to first bracket is set, then we'll say here $_post, and inside this to single quotation, here you can see our name is login. So we are going to check if someone click on that login button. So if someone click on this login button, first of all, what we do is that we'll get the input field data from here. So let me just declare a variable. Let's say $u_email equal to, we'll say $_post, and here inside this single quotation, okay, we need to say here email. I made a spelling mistake here. So here you can see name equal to email. So we'll copy this and we'll paste it here. After that, let me just copy it, paste it here, and here we are going to get the password. Let's just say here $pass, and here you can see we need to say here name is password. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. So the email and the password is in this variable. Right now we're going to write a SQL query. So we say here $SQL equal to, we say select star form. We need to mention our table name, and our table name is users. Let me show you just so you don't get confused. Here you can see our table name is users. So we say here select star from users. We say here where we are going to match it with the email and password for our database. So here you can see email and password. So we are going to say the email on the table equal to, we'll give to single quotation like this, then we'll give to double quotation like this, then we need to give 2 dots. Okay, and this double quotation is for this one. So inside this we are going to say here u_email, and we are going to check. So we'll say here and we need to say here password, and this will come from the database, which is this one. Okay, so password, it will be equal to, again we'll give to single quotation, inside it we'll give to double quotation, then we'll give to dot here. So inside this we are going to mention this $pass, and we need to end this with a semicolon. So here we are checking in the user table whether the input, email and password exist in the table or not. If exist, let me declare another variable. Let's say $result equal to, we need to say here my SQLi underscore query, then to first bracket, and here we need to mention this database connection, which is con, comma, we need to mention this SQL. So we'll say here SQL. After that, we are going to declare on another variable. It will be, let's say $row equal to, we say here my SQLi underscore fetch underscore array, then to first bracket, and here inside this to first bracket we are going to keep this $result. So if the email or password existed in the table or not, we'll have this in this $row variable. So right now we are going to give a if condition. So we are going to say here if to first bracket to second bracket like this, and we are going to say $row, and using the $row, first of all we'll check whether the user trying to log in is user or admin. So first of all, for it, let me just go to my table, and here you can see user. So here I'm going to insert a data. So just go to the user table, then here you can see insert option, click on insert. Let's say here name is admin and the email is admin@gmail.com. Password will be 123456. Phone is random phone number. Address is Canada, and let's say the user type will be admin. So if I now click go, it is inserted, and there you can see we have the admin user, and here you can see the user type is admin. There you can see user type. So using the user type, we are going to determine whether a user will go to the user page or admin page. So when you are creating the user table, make sure you have name, email, password field, and also the user type field. Okay. So using the user type, we'll decide whether a user is admin or not and which page the user should go. So let's go back, and inside this row, we are going to say here user type. Then we'll give here equal whether it is user or admin. So first of all, let's say user. If the user type is user, we're going to say here, we're going to send the user to the user page. So we'll say here header, then to first bracket, we'll say here location, clone, and the location will be, let's say in the home folder, we will have the user home page. So we say here home / let's say user page.php, and we need to keep this inside to double quotation. Then let me just copy this if condition and paste it here, and this will be the else condition. So if we say here else if the user type is admin, then we'll send the user to admin page. So let's say here admin/admin page. So we do not have this PC file, so we need to create those file. So let me just extract again. So here you can see user type is user and admin, and we are just giving that condition here. If the user type is user, send the user to this page, and if the user type is admin, send the user to this page. And if nothing matches, we'll say here else, and we'll just print something equal. Let's say here username or password is wrong. So let's go and create those PC files. So in the home folder, let's get user page.php. So here you can see home folder. So I just right click, then click new file. I'm going to say here user page.php, Ctrl S, then save. Here I'm going to say simple HTML, and in the body, let's say here H on. This is user page. And after this, I'm going to create a admin folder, and in the admin folder, we're going to create admin page.php. So I'm just going to click on my project name, then click on new folder, and the folder name will be admin. In the admin, we're going to create admin page.php. So I'll just click on admin, then click on new folder, new file. I'll say here admin page.php, Ctrl S, then save. So here I'll say HTML, and in the body, let's say this is admin page. Let's save it, and let's go back to our browser. Let me refresh here. And here you can see we have an email called test@gmail.com. So we say here test@gmail.com, and the password is 12345678. 12345678, and click on login. Okay, not found. So here you can see home/home. So the thing is, this login.php is already inside the home folder, so that's why we do not need to mention the home/ here. So let me just save it here. Let me just go back, refresh, and here let's say test@gmail.com, password 12345678, click on login, and there you go. It says this is user base. So right now let's go and try to log into the admin page. So let's go back, and here we're going to say admin@gmail.com, and the password for admin was 123456. 123456, click on login, and I made another mistake, and that is our admin folder is not inside the home folder. So what you need to do is that before this admin, we need to give .admin, because this admin folder is outside the home folder. So let me just save it again. Let me go back, refresh, let's say here admin 123456, click, and here you can see this is admin page.